So you just watched Spider-Man Brand New Day and you're thinking to yourself, why is Florence Pugh sitting in a bathhouse and speaking with a Russian accent? Maybe you've fallen a bit behind in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but Brand New Day has piqued your interest again, and you don't have time to go back and watch all the projects? Well, let me tell you about Yelena Belova in just a few minutes' time. And then after that, if you want an even more detailed look at her character and the other incredible characters within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, stay till the end of the video. We have full and partial watch orders we'd love to tell you about. All right, here we go. We first met Yelena in the 2021 film Black Widow. That's right, she's a more recent character and her ascent up the Marvel ranks has been swift. Black Widow begins with the original Black Widow, Natasha, played by Scarlett Johansson, on the run. She sided with Captain America in the movie Captain America Civil War, so she's a fugitive. Needing help, Natasha turns to her family. This group of Russian operatives she lived undercover with in Ohio when she was a child. This includes her little sister, Yelena. Together, the team fights to take down the sinister Red Room, a top-secret program turning Russian girls into mind-controlled assassins. In a post-credit scene set several years later, Yelena is visiting Natasha's grave when she's approached by a mysterious government agent named Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, or Val for short. Val claims that Clint Barton, aka Hawkeye, is responsible for Natasha's death, and she offers Yelena a shot at revenge. So we next find Yelena trying to exact that revenge on Clint in the Hawkeye series streaming on Disney+. After a violent and emotional confrontation, Yelena is convinced that Barton isn't to blame and lets him live. Along the way, she makes friends with Kate Bishop over spicy macaroni.
Yes.
And helps Kate and Clint solve the mystery that's been ruining their Christmases. So while Yelena is obviously a lethal adversary, she's funny, endearing, and not a cold-blooded killer at heart. It would be over 4 years before Yelena popped back up again in the 2025 ragtag team-up film Thunderbolts. Here we find Yelena, exhausted and disillusioned, doing shady work for Val as a secret operative. But Val is being closely scrutinized by Congress, so she decides to tie up her loose ends, which means killing off the super soldiers who've been doing her dirty work. This includes Yelena, but she escapes, along with Ghost, US Agent, and a guy named Bob.
I'm Bob.
Each of these characters has a checkered past, carrying a burden of guilt, failure, and shame. But for the moment, they need each other. Our team is soon joined by 2 more super soldiers, Yelena's dad, who we originally met in Black Widow, the Russian superhero Red Guardian, and newly elected Congressman Bucky Barnes, aka the Winter Soldier. They begrudgingly unite as the Thunderbolts, the name of Yelena's childhood soccer team. To everyone's surprise, Bob proves to be the most powerful of them all. The lone survivor of the Sentry program, a new covert government effort to create super soldiers, Bob becomes Val's golden child, the Sentry, until things go horribly wrong. Bob's mental and emotional instability leads to the creation of another persona, the dark and powerful Void. The Void begins casting a shadow over Manhattan, drawing everyone it touches into a labyrinth of their worst nightmares. Bob's trapped in there himself, having been overshadowed by the Void, caught in a hellscape of traumatic memories. After a heartbreaking admission of her own guilt and shame, Yelena enters the shadow to save Bob. The rest of the team follows, and the conclusion is one of the most poignant scenes in the MCU. Bob is beating himself up, literally, giving in to self-hatred and shame. And this is only fueling the Void. So Yelena and the Thunderbolts spring into action, combating Bob's self-abuse with comfort, compassion, forgiveness, and hugs. With the Void shadow finally lifted, the Thunderbolts turn their attention to Val, but she has one last trick up her sleeve. She surprises them and the whole world by declaring them heroes and announcing that they have been chosen to be the new Avengers. Now, if you saw Captain America Brave New World, you know that Sam Wilson is Captain America now, and that the president asked him to put together an Avengers team. So while Yelena's Avengers are officially sanctioned, they may not be the only Avengers team out there, but they're based in the old Avengers Tower, now called the Watchtower, and they're the Avengers Peter Parker reaches out to when he needs help. So that's Yelena, her unlikely rise from an unspeakable childhood as an assassin in training to a central role on the Avengers. Russian-trained spy that she is, she meets Peter in a way that puts him off balance while guaranteeing her safety in a New York bathhouse. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. To be honest, Marvel's on quite a generational run right now between Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, Daredevil, and now Spider-Man Brand New Day. And if you're just now getting back in since Avengers Endgame aired over 7 years ago, we at Friends from Work can help guide you along your way. We like to think of ourselves as the nerd podcast for non-nerds and nerds alike. Visit the ffwpodcast.com for complete and modified watch orders, and you can choose the amount of time you want to invest. And subscribe to this YouTube channel below and Friends from Work on all podcast platforms for the most up-to-date MCU discussions. We hope to see you again soon.